Hey everyone, how you doing? This is Amon Green, Green Bay Packers all-time leading rusher, and you're watching Packers Total Access Live, your daily source for Packer content. Go Pack, go!
What's up, guys? Welcome into the PTA Senior Bowl watch party. As we're here to just kick back, relax, watch a little football today, which is going to be a long time before we get some meaningful football as soon as the Super Bowl's over, right? So it's really cool to see these prospects go at it at the Senior Bowl. So we're just going to kind of, like I said, hang out for a couple hours here, watch some ball, give you guys some updates on what's going on in the game. We'll also be looking at the board all day long. We'll be breaking down prospects, all that good stuff, just talking draft mainly and take it all in. I thought this would be a new experience for us is kind of go live, do a little watch party for the Senior Bowl this year. Tim, what's going on, man? I know you're locked and loaded, bro. You ready?
Man, check right underneath my name, man. These are the dudes I'm watching today, right? You got Jaden Higgins, you got Pat Bryant, you got Jalen Royals. Let's go. We got Restrepo playing today for all you guys who like the midget size receivers, you know. No, I'm tuned up, man. This is good to go. We got some pizza ready to roll. You know, we're gonna chill out, watch a little ball, watch the future unfold right here in front of our very eyes. So I'm happy to be here, man.
Yeah, it's going to be great. This is just going to kind of be command central for everyone. Obviously, put the game on your TVs, and we'll sit here and talk. We'll take requests, all that good stuff. Not music, all right? But we're going to be taking requests on prospects, things like that. Tim,
I'll tell you one thing. We are ready to go, Clayton.
Get ready to go.
Sir. Yes, sir, we are. Emilio been working overtime on the board. We were in here after the show last night doing a little bit of tweaking on the board. Not twerking, tweaking on the board. All right, guys, calm down.
Yeah. Jacob was twerking. Yes, he had a shift last night at the office. So
probably is today too. We'll see. So you said Jaden Higgins. We've got Jaden Higgins now with the updated board here, Tim. Jaden Higgins is sitting in the 68 spot on our board right now. So he's creeping up on that second round. Really, really interesting there. The other one you said, what, Pat Bryant? Let's see where we got Pat Bryant.
Yeah, Pat Bryant, the second, Illinois, I believe.
Yep.
Another bigger receiver.
We've got him at 120 is where he's at on our board. And then the last one is Jalen Royals, correct?
Yeah, Jalen Royals. That's my other guy.
Let's see where we got old Jalen Royals at now. Because, again, this stuff adjusted last night. We got a lot more information in. 88 on our board there, Tim. So the guys that you really like, it kind of feels like second to third round might be that range, right? Maybe bleeding into the fourth, depending on what the wide receiver draft does. That's just according to our board. It could be way off, but that's the way we built our board here this year. So let's go ahead and jump into a little bit of news that broke. And I know the game's getting ready to get kicked off right now as the guys are set to get that rolling. Just want to kind of talk about a few things that came down the pike here. Tim, if I can get the right Twitter up. That's the problem with having multiple windows open. And this is going to be a well-oiled machine, I promise you today. All right, here we go. So yesterday, Easton Butler had tweeted out that the Packers met with Virginia safety Jonas Sanker at the Senior Bowl per @Alec_332. So I looked him up earlier. Let me look it up again here. I know I took a quick peek earlier.
It's a safety who can play in the slot. Look at that.
228 on our board. So a later round pick according to our board. The consensus big board had him at 200. The PFF big board had him at 98. His PFF grade in 23, he was 113th graded safety. And then in 24, he was 258. So, Tim, do you have his PFF profile pulled up? Is that what you're looking at there?
Yeah, I'm looking at right now 72.8 in 2024. Let's see where they have him. They have him at 102 on PFF's board. 256 out of 912 safeties. Jonas Sanker.
Got it. Jake in the house says, crazy how times have changed. Last year, wide receiver talk was blasphemous. So true, man. It's so true. So, yeah, there's Sanker. You want to keep an eye on him. Again, probably would be a little bit later round pick. We've got the cheese emoji next to him. That way we know, all right, the Packers showed interest in him. Obviously, he's at the Senior Bowl there. Should be playing today, to the best of my knowledge. So, stadium's starting to fill up out there. I mean, it looks like absolutely beautiful weather. It's just, barely any clouds in the sky, beautiful blue sky. is the backdrop there at Hancock Whitney Stadium in Mobile, Alabama. Going to be a lot of fun watching this one. And Emilio may be joining us shortly. We'll see. I know Jacob. I think Jacob got called into work.
Man.
Jacob got called into dance. called into work. So we'll see. We'll see what
I know
happens.
Jacob was ready for this, though. He was excited for this. Hopefully he can sneak out of there, Hopefully he can sneak out and join us a little bit later. I'm sure we'll be on for a while.
You guys know exactly where he's at, too. This dude, how many times have you been excited about plans and then you get that call that a coworker called in, right?
Yep.
Or someone that, maybe you're a supervisor or a manager and you gotta fill that spot because somebody got the little cough. They got the black lung pop. So we'll see if he makes it in here a little later. Another one, Tim. This one might get you a little bit excited here. We got a cornerback on the board. As Ethan Butler said, the Packers met with Ole Miss cornerback Trey Amos at the Senior Bowl per at Gary Wolfel. All right, if I'm saying that name correctly. And I want to say that someone, here it is, Kyle Krabs of the 33rd team in his mock draft 1.0 actually had us draft Trey Amos in the 23rd pick. And then lo and behold, yesterday, actually it might have been, it was yesterday the news dropped that the Packers had met with him. So obviously he's going to have the old cheese emoji on the draft board next to him just to show us, hey, the Packers were interested. Tim, what do you think about Trey Amos here, man? We just talked about a safety that played a little slot. What do you got on Trey Amos? You got anything you want to add there?
Pure corner. Not much of a slot, it looks like. Played in the box a little bit last year, but definitely seems like a boundary corner, graded out at an 85.7 according to PFF. So certainly worth a look at, right? And he's not undersized, 6'1", 190. He's going to be 23. So this could be a solid prospect depending on where he falls on the board. And again, where Goody's got cornerback as a priority,
Yeah, let's see if Daniel Jeremiah had him go in the first round. As we talked about, Kyle Krabs did. I'm not seeing Trey Amos. So according to Daniel Jeremiah in his mock draft 1.0, he sees Trey Amos falling out of the first round. We have him in the number 29 spot. So that would be a solid pick for us at 23 if he was to be there. It's right there in that ballpark. However, if he continues to drop out of the first round, who knows? Maybe he lasts to the mid to late second. You can jump up there and grab him there. Maybe, I don't know. That's what we were talking about, though. Kind of feels like if you wait till beyond the second round of the draft, you're going to kind of be in no man's land trying to get a corner unless these guys begin to fall. As we got the opening kickoff here, and the white jerseys have the ball first. I believe that's the national team, Tim. So to answer your question, the national team is wearing the white jerseys. I know you get the roster and everything for us there. I'm going to make a little note because I know I will forget. National is the white jersey.
Yeah, I wrote it on my call sheet. I got the call sheet ready, Clay. We're good to go. I got everybody.
My man. That's
quick reference. Let's get it.
And then, of course, the American have the I guess it's the orange jersey. Is I don't know, maybe a burnt orange or a brown. The Reese's.
Yeah, I was going to say not quite a red. It kind of looks like. Maybe they did that for Reese's,
they did
peanut butter cup color,
No doubt. All right, here's the first handoff of the game. Who's wearing 0 there for the national team, Tim? Running back is that Gordon? Am I thinking right?
Ollie Gordon II, OSU.
Right. Got it. All right, Ollie Gordon II is going to be starting at running back. There's something else I wanted to hit. Probably now would be the good time to do that. Here we go. Tom Pelissero said the American team will announce 2 starting quarterbacks at today's Senior Bowl. Notre Dame's Riley Leonard, the first half he'll play, and then Alabama's Jalen Milroe will play the second half. Ole Miss's Jackson Dart will also play early, and it said Oregon's Dylan Gabriel starts with the national team. So that's Dylan Gabriel under center over there.
And for the PTA team, I will be eating pizza early.
My man, that's what I'm talking about.
Special announcement.
I was going to go wings. I was going to pizza. I was going back and forth. And I went, you know what, man, let's do some beer dogs today. So what we did was we sauteed up some onions in a skillet, right? And we threw some Nathan's dogs in that skillet and then just covered them with beer and let it hard boil down to where there's no beer left and everything. Oh, my God.
Got to go with the Nathan's for sure.
Yeah. Nitschke, my little ankle biter dog, he's down there at the bottom, sitting below the stove like, bro, you going to just drop one? Just one. All I need is one. So
I love it.
Yeah. So we're doing beer dogs and and fries and chips, stuff like that today. You'll see me munch before the day is over here. 2nd and 5, 13:24 left in the first quarter. Dylan Gabriel finished the year with 3,857 passing yards and 30 touchdowns in 2024. Third team AP All-American. Let's see what we got here. Under center, 12 personnel, 12 nasty. Seen a lot of 12 nasty at the Shrine game too. Boy, he barely got that handoff in the right. That looked like a miscommunication there as they're going to lose yardage. And looks like Jones, number 34, Tim, for the American team, made that tackle. And boy, oh boy, did he beat that guard. Beat him like a drum. Who do we have there? 0 for the American team.
Savion Jones, LSU, yeah.
There you go. All right. Good deal. So let's
Shout
see.
out Drew D. He went and got Crow's Butter Burgers.
Oh, that's what I'm talking about. That's
Love
what
it.
I'm talking about. Gotta love it, boy. Getting the replies lit up here with some half-naked women on Twitter. You gotta love that, right? There's another bot to block. So let's see if we can get back to the original here. There was something else I want to hit. Jack Kaiser was one that popped to me, man. I thought this was interesting. I don't know how much. I want to hear the chat here. How much stock do you guys put in this right here? All right. How much stock do you put in what Jim Nagy said? Notre Dame's Jack Kaiser was named top linebacker on the American squad in vote from the offensive lineman, tight end, and running back position groups at the Practice Player of the Week awards ceremony today at the 2025 Reese's Senior Bowl. And he came to Mobile after only 6-day college football playoff window and a 16-game, what else does it say, season. So Jack Kaiser's like, listen, boy, I got nothing to hide, man. We're doing this. We're going to be ready to roll. You guys know I'm a little higher on Jack Kaiser than most because, you know, I'm a Notre Dame fan, obviously. But, again, team captain, a little bit undersized, most people would say. He's at 6'1", I think 6'1 3/4 where he measured in at, a little less than 230 pounds. I want to get the chat's take on that as it's a 2nd and 10 pitch play here. Looks like the national team picked up about 4 or 5 yards on that play. We got a 3rd down coming up. Tim, what do you think about Jack Kaiser, man? How do you feel about Jack Kaiser?
You know, I'm a little biased too because I kind of lean towards the Irish myself. You know, I'm not a big college football guy, but if I'm watching, it's usually Notre Dame for sure. Notre Dame and Georgia are my teams. I haven't made that a secret at all, but so I'm probably a little higher on Kaiser too, just because of the bias. But I think he's solid, man. And I mean, I'm looking forward to seeing the rest of today's game and see how he looks out there.
Yeah, definitely. I see Jake in the chat. Jake, are you available? If you're available, I'll shoot you the link real quick, man. I wasn't sure if you were or not. I know you were flying back yesterday. I don't want to bug you about it, but if you want
Jake's
to jump
the man. He's down there for practice, you know, all the important stuff. And then he's like, you know what? I'll jump on the flight, get home in time to watch the game. I love it.
Exactly. I'm gonna shoot you an invite anyway, Jake. If you want to jump in, you go right ahead, brother. I'll shoot you a DM right now. Give me just a second. As looks like they moved the sticks there, so we got a 1st and 10 now for the national team. Is it right up the gut again, man? Another solid run there for the national
team. Says bunch of Notre Dame fans in here. Yep. Sorry. At least we're not Chiefs fans.
All right, Jake, if you're available and you want to hop in, man, you got the link, dude. No pressure, though. If you want to just sit back and enjoy the game, I completely understand that, too, rather than getting in here talking with us knuckleheads. And we'll see. Emilio's MIA right now. Hopefully he's all right. Hopefully he ain't in the clink. You know how it is.
He might have just passed out in front of his keyboard while he was updating the board.
Could have.
Working a little overtime.
The other thing, Emilio will be the first to tell you, man. Oh, look at this. We got a halfback pass. Oh, what a grab. Fighting through contact. Who was it? Tim. You see who that was, sir.
I'm 30 seconds behind you again, man. What the heck's going on with my feed?
I'm going to pause then. Okay? I don't want to. Where do you see it? You're about to go nuts. Halfback pass. Where do you see this, bro?
Oh, man, I got a feeling I know who this is.
Yeah, you know who it is. You know who it is, sir. Fighting through a face mask, contact, everything. I'm pretty sure. That is wild.
Oh, snap.
Snap.
Oh, is that my dude?
Hey, see,
that's my dude. It sure is. Let's go. Let's go. Iowa State, baby. Jaden Higgins with a contested catch there. Fought through a face mask. Dude was, I mean, the poor kid tried everything he possibly could to just drag Jaden Higgins down. He still
brung in the catch.
Ollie Gordon with the pass though, got the skills.
Yes, sir.
I love it.
What are you showing right now? Are they going for
the
two
replay?
yet?
They're showing the replay of the tutter. Yeah, he was wow. You got PI and a face mask on that.
Do me a favor,
man.
Tell me when they throw this 2-point conversion pass. Say they're throwing right now. Tell me as soon as the ball leaves his hand. All right.
Oh, okay. We're gonna sync it up.
Yep. Let's do that.
Let's see where I'm at.
Looks like everybody.
They just broke the huddle. I got 9:48. 11 seconds on the play clock. All right, they're about to snap. All right, snap and throw.
Got it. All right, we're synced up now as long as something don't go haywire.
Nice.
And that was Arroyo there. We've been talking about him a lot, right? Arroyo.
Yeah, man.
There you go. Blake B says Arroyo with the Jermichael Finley fade. Let's see if we can find him on the board real quick. I know he was I want to say he was kind of high, right? Arroyo.
On our board, I think so.
Yeah. Trying to think of how to spell his name now. Can you help me with that spelling, Tim? Arroyo, he's number
ARR. Let's see. ARROYO. Elijah Aroro.
Got it. ARROYO. All right, yeah, we've got him in the 73 spot, so a potential second to third round pick, right? Somewhere in there, most likely.
Yep.
You kind of break them down too. You kind of go like top 5, and then you go kind of top 10, and then it's first round. Then you go second and third are kind of grouped together. Third and fourth are kind of grouped together. And then it's like day 3. You know what I mean? It's like the final guys. It's kind of how you break that down typically. So there you go. Yeah, John Schultz. We should be fairly synced up now. I didn't see anybody say they were on the same one as mine. I'm on YouTube TV. It tends to be a lot faster than like regular cable.
Oh, I get it. That's why. I'm watching direct through NFL Pro. That's what I'm doing.
We should be synced up now, though, so we should be good. Cool. So, again, Jack Kaiser, just a name to look for because right now I'm trying to think of where we have him at. Jack Kaiser was a little bit later on the board. I don't want you guys to think I'm giving him a first-round talent or anything, first-round grade here. But Jack Kaiser, we've got in the 104 spot, and I'm looking at it going, if you're gonna end up taking 2 linebackers, if Eric Wilson and Isaiah McDuffie are both gone, and they both may re-sign them, we don't even need a backer. But if you need one, this is a dude, Tim, that if he falls to the 3rd, 4th round, somewhere in that range, I'd love to get him. We know how Goody feels about captains of teams, and don't get me wrong, probably 98% of these prospects that are going in the draft were captains of their college team, right? That's probably the case there. So, but again, Jack Kaiser, just keep an eye on him moving forward for sure. All right, let's see here. There was something else I wanted to show you guys. A couple other things here. Here's another one that got a bonus for us this week, Tim. Gray Zabel dominated, obviously.
Yes.
Jim Aggie said North Dakota State offensive lineman Gray Zabel was named Senior Bowl overall practice player of the week today in a poll of NFL executives from all 32 teams.
Here's the guy.
So, literally all 32 teams voted, and they voted that Gray Zabel was hands down the best prospect during practice this week. So that's really exciting. He went on to say, I think it was him that he had mentioned this as well. Maybe not. Someone had mentioned like the top center in the draft. Maybe that's coming up on another tweet that I had here. I think it probably is. There was another tweet that I had tried to put out. Maybe I didn't, but someone had mentioned him as the top center in the draft because he played center, obviously. So, here it is right here. Yeah, it was Dane Brugler actually mentioned it. Let me get it up on the screen for you guys and gals. This is really interesting. Dane Brugler said, and it wasn't really close. Zabel had a dominant week. He was already in the top 50 mix, but now he's knocking on the first round door, top center in the draft. So hands down, he is now being mentioned as a center and the top center in the draft. And this is exciting. Let's see if we can pull him up real quick and see where his grade is. So he's in the 60 spot for us. All right. And let me explain. Some guys are going, whoa, Clayton, you had him higher than that. We did. Here's what brought him down. The 33rd team big board, Kyle Krabs, had him in the 89 spot. All right. Daniel Jeremiah had him in the 48 spot. He got a bonus for Senior Bowl because he just absolutely dominated the Senior Bowl. Right. And before that, the consensus big board had him at 74. Right. PFF big board had him at 39. And his PFF grades were off the charts. So we've got him settling in at the 60 spot right now. We'll see where he ends up when we get to the final averages there. But we do have DJ's ranking of him and the 33rd team in the database. So that's probably about where he's going to be. The fact that they're saying now he may be a first-round pick, Tim. Really, really exciting stuff there. And again, the top center in the draft, you might see a team or two try to reach for him, seeing that center is so thin there within the top 100. You know what I'm saying?
That must be, an explanation of why he's basically, they're listing him as a center now. I'm looking at him on PFF. You've got nothing.
Right.
Everything is guard or a little bit of guard and mostly left and right tackle for him. And maybe because the class at center in this draft is so thin, like this guy just jumps off the tape. Maybe it's in his best interest to go into the draft as a true center, if he can prove that he can do it. So I think it's awesome.
Yeah, definitely. And we got Jake Shavink joining us now. Jake, hope you're doing well over, buddy. You recovered? Jet lag? You good, man? How we doing?
Yeah, pretty good overall. Just good to see folks tuning in for the Senior Bowl and for this live.
Yeah, we had a good crowd in here, man. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Let me ask you about Zabel here. We talked a lot about him here lately. We updated our board last night. Me and Emilio were in here like a couple geeks till midnight, just putting some extra information in. And we've got Gray Zabel. Obviously, he's listed as a tackle, but he's versatile. Now you've seen people like Dane Brugler say, hey, this is the top center in the draft. We kind of talked about it a little bit the other day. Where do you see him at? What range do you see him? Because like Dane says here, he was already in the top 50 mix. Now he's knocking on the first-round door. We've got him in the 60 spot. You feel like it's sounding a little bit low, isn't it?
Yeah, maybe a little bit. It's hard to say because, kind of had a conversation offline a little bit about the QB tax a little bit on all the Dart stuff recently. There probably is still going to be some offensive line tax on top of that, right? Like you're going to get, and I think it happened last year, right? We kind of thought, was Jordan Morgan really a true first-round guy? Was he more in that 40-ish range? So there's probably going to be guys that have that same thing, right? You see defensive line and offensive line are probably going to be sort of brought further towards the first round for a lot of guys, right? I know Harmon's kind of in that weird mix, right? PFF has him low, but I imagine he'll be pushed up near round one. And I think Zabel's probably in that camp as well, especially if, teams think like, hey, maybe we try him a tackle, maybe we try him a guard, he can be kind of a best five guy for everybody. Like that value probably will, at the very least, I think, vault him into those 30s, somewhere in there. Like some team says, yeah, we got our QB, or we got, a top defensive player, or you're the Patriots and say, we got our receiver in round one and McMillan. Let's go get Zabel right away at the top of round two. Like that, with how many teams you see around the league, and I think this was kind of the case last year too, with all the offensive line going, it's like, man, go through the top 10 and like tell me how many teams need offensive line. Right. Like, I mean, Tennessee's at 1. Yeah, they've got, they went and got Latham. They got Skoronski. Who's the right tackle? Yeah, like I know who it is, but like is he a quality starter? Mm-hmm. Cleveland, they're probably losing Wills in free agency as a left tackler. They're going to bring him back. He hasn't really lived up to early first round billing. The Giants, when Andrew Thomas was out, my goodness, was that a mess? New England, they couldn't protect May at all. So like there's going to be plenty of teams like looking in that range. Think Chicago, of course, as well, right? San Francisco, Trent Williams, how long is he going to be around? And even then, like they've got Pooney, but who else do they have like long term? So I think with all of that, I think you're going to see offensive linemen that can be versatile, that have shown that they can, especially these small guys that have shown like, yeah, we can hang against top competition. They'll get pushed up the board a little bit.
Got it. And I know you and I were having a conversation offline about quarterback there a little bit. And shout out to Two-Tone, became a member here on YouTube. Appreciate you, Two-Tone. You came in at the buzzer, man. We're going to make sure you're on the wheel here in a second for the giveaway. So we're going to spin the wheel here probably about halftime, I would imagine. We're going to give away an autographed Dorsey Levens jersey. But we were kind of having a conversation about quarterback, and Philip Rube was asking any opinion on quarterback at like 251. He's talking about late, right? And Drew D says, I still like Howard if he falls, but I don't think he'll last until 251. Philip came back and said, yeah, I think he might merit a 5th or a 6th round pick. What's your feeling on quarterback, man? You can kind of piggyback off the conversation we had offline, but also want to get your take on, if the Packers do take a quarterback, is there any that you really like there late in the draft?
Yeah, late, maybe a little less so. It's hard to know because I think Brugler tweeted this a little earlier. He was like, teams were hoping Milroe and Dart were going to kind of show something, kind of sort of stamp in their top 50, kind of like, yeah, that, this is where they should be picked. From Dane's perspective, it sounded like, and from kind of watching the practices, it felt very inconsistent. I think Dart kind of steered the ship back a little bit on course on Thursday with some of the stuff in like full team, but it felt very, very inconsistent all week. And Milroe especially, it was a struggle for him, definitely. So it's hard to know how these are going to be stacked up. I still think Dart's probably your consensus 3 to this point, but Will Howard, I mean, if you asked everybody probably before December, they're like, yeah, day 3 for sure. Not really a question. And then he goes out and leads a team. They shred Tennessee. They knock off number 1. They hang on against Texas, and he makes a big throw late in the game and was pepper in the middle of the field against Notre Dame. Like, he's probably, I mean, I would love to pose this question to you and to Tim and to even the comments as well. Like, if you think about Will Howard, like, if you're talking him, you're talking like a Desmond Ridder, a Willis, like Hendon Hooker, wouldn't you draft him at least near that range, right?
Yeah.
Compared to all those other guys. So
yeah, I'm all about, once you get outside of kind of those top prospects, right? Anybody's on the table. Now it comes to, what are the traits you like? What other value can you add? And quarterback's so tough for me because, like, obviously special teams can be a cluster buster. If you got a bunch of guys with the same grade, quarterback, obviously it doesn't apply, right? It's going to be interesting to see how the quarterback position unfolds because, like what we talked about, with Jackson Dart, all of a sudden people are like, hey, maybe a first-round pick, he's creeping up. This happens every single year, right? And I know you mentioned that draft specifically. I think that had Malik Willis in it, if I remember correctly. Was that 22?
Yeah, 22 was kind of the one where it was like, oh man, this is down. And we kind of were like, oh, are these guys going to get pushed up anyway? Because that happens. And there was a lot of projection with that. And NFL teams were like, no. Right. We know what this class is, right? Like, we understand. So, and it might not be exactly that, right? Kenny Pickett went 20th, I think, to Pittsburgh around that pick. Mm-hmm. It seems like, as we all know, like there's going to be 2 for sure that go in the first. It feels very clear to that point. Yeah. But after that, why not Will Howard?
So those 2 being Cam Ward and Shadir.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
It does. I think if there was any hesitation on Sanders, I think teams would have been like, hey, maybe you should practice this week at the Shrine Bowl,
right?
So we can see you. The fact that there wasn't any pushback and Brugler didn't say anything about any pushback from that from teams on Sanders, it's kind of like, his floor is probably the Raiders, and we'll call it a day after that.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, man. I don't know. Shadur in Las Vegas in that jersey, I think it's going to be awesome, man. I'm kind of excited about it. I think
it'd be cool.
How flashy he is, and I say flashy, I don't mean it like, hell, maybe I do. I don't know. It's just, I think of the social media name on the back of the Colorado jerseys and the way they do things. You talk about a marketing dream, at least for a year, right? If he sucks, obviously that stuff will go away. But, man, the platform he would have in Vegas. Tim, you could see Shadur out there, couldn't you, run around?
Oh, yeah. We've talked about this, right? For all the reasons you listed, but also just look at the football side, right? You got, Pete Carroll taking over the helm. You got Tom Brady in the ownership group there. Like, as a rookie QB, it's a pretty good situation for you to be in.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt about it. I'm trying to get the giveaway ready here. So if you guys just want to talk about what we've seen. Did you see the Jaden Higgins play right off the bat there, Jake?
I did see that. I actually was pretty, other than Zabel kind of getting beat there by Jones in the backfield. I thought him and Mbao actually did pretty good on most of the run stuff. There was a nice combo they put together, right? Mbao playing at right tackle and Zabel at right guard. So excited for those 2. I know Brandon Thorne, who does a lot of great offensive line stuff. He's already had some of the top guys on his Substack, breaking down film with him. He talked a lot about, like, it's as long as Mbao, like, adds, some muscle mass to the lower half, like the way he can fake jump set people, shouldn't be a real thing that a tackle can do. So, like, that's, when he's pointing that kind of stuff out, like during Senior Bowl week and all that, like, it definitely mark that down as like, yeah, okay. So Mbao does move different. Maybe not a finished product, right? But he is somebody that I think even Packer fans should be keeping their eyes on.
Yeah. And what would you call that? A fake pass set? Is that what you said?
I think they call it it's like a fake like jump set, I think I want to say, because that jump set's the one where you try to get out super wide, right? You kind of take that hop more horizontally to kind of prevent that speed rusher from turning the corner, get hands on early. So that like fake jump set can kind of throw them off. And they're like, oh, you're going to have to react as an edge rusher. Am I going to have to go back inside? Do I hesitate at all? And then the rep's done, right? Once you hesitate as a rusher, it's kind of over. So the fact that Mbao can do that kind of stuff is insane.
Yeah. I was going to try to find it here for you guys. That's the reason I asked what you called it. So I just typed in Mbao, and we found it here on Twitter.
You did? Oh, yeah, right.
So this is from the Senior Bowl, right? Practice. Check this out, guys. That's what he's talking about. See him jump out there, and that is sick.
Wow.
I don't understand it. It's insane because immediately the rusher goes, all right, well, I'm going inside now.
Right.
After he's done that, and it's like, that's exactly what I want you to do, buddy.
Yeah, exactly. Look at that. That's I watched football for a long time. I don't remember seeing that, and everyone was talking like it's just normal. Yeah, no, that's what he does. I'm like, that's crazy.
What he does.
Yeah,
that's truly insane. And
he's playing chess, not checkers, right?
Yeah,
right.
And you kind of have to now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like defensive linemen, the edge rushers are getting more powerful, faster, right? You have to be very calculated in your approach. And throw anything at them, right? Obviously, that you can throw that like fake jab out there that a lot of guys do now to get kind of the rushers to expose their plan a little bit. But like this is incredible stuff.
Really is. Emilio, what's up, man? I see you made it in here.
Yeah.
Tim's ready to take the rest of the day off. He said, we got a Higgins touchdown. I'm done for the day, boys. I'm gonna eat my pizza.
You didn't tell him about the updated board, right, Clay?
What do you mean?
Did he move up?
I'm not saying anything.
Did he move up?
We already hit on the board earlier, but we'll pull it up again here real quick.
But no, just to that Mimbo point. I mean, we were talking about how the these are built for offensive people, except kind of the offensive line. These drills are built for the wide receivers and the backs and everything. No pressure or anything. So I like that he's kind of attacking attacking that bit, stepping out to him, giving him a different look.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for sure. I like Embo and Membo, right? You got the tackle from Missouri too. Yeah. Another kind of a guy to keep an eye on. But the guy out of Purdue, man, Embo he's amazing just to watch that.
Absolute snatcher out there too.
Yep.
On film, which is really fun to see. Like he's quick, but he also, when you have that kind of hand technique as well, it's a great combo to have in today's NFL. Fits you in that wide zone stuff as well. Like you're not like limited necessarily scheme wise. And if you have kind of that physical mentality, teams like Green Bay who run zone, they run gap, they'll mix up the run looks, like they appreciate those players.
Yep.
Definitely. Philip Root became a YouTube member. Appreciate you, Philip. Welcome to the posse, buddy. Welcome aboard. Thank you for the support, man. Yeah, so this is what he was talking about. Where did he move from? Do you remember, Emilio, where he jumped from last night?
He was like I want to say he was like in the 34th or like mid 30s, maybe, early 40s. But he fell, and I felt bad for Tim, man. Once that happened, I
think he was watching the show last night. And he went, "Oh yeah, let me go out here and just moss somebody today." Snatch one. Now, what dropped him down though was the 33rd team board, right? A 79. Right. Kyle Krabs having him at 79 pulled him down quite a bit there. So when Daniel Jeremiah gets his board in, I'm interested to see where he has him. Obviously, in his first top 50 board, Daniel Jeremiah does not have him in the top 50. Where do you see him at, Jake, when it comes to Jaden Higgins? We talked a lot about him here, and I know we asked your opinion the other day on kind of what the type of player is, but where do you see him on the board, you think, man?
Just in terms of like where he's going, you think?
Yeah.
Is what? Okay. I think 50s is a really good spot for him. Which is why I'm concerned, because I think we've latched on to him. I'm very concerned if Pittsburgh doesn't go receiver in round 1, they're taking him 2 picks in front of Green Bay in round 2. Yeah. That's like I feel like that is, because when you look at it, I don't know if there's a lot obviously between now and the draft, right? Anything could change of like what the approach is going to be, but if you're Pittsburgh, right, and you you have Roman Wilson, right? You drafted him last year. Slot guy with speed, that's fine. You can keep him in the middle of the field. Russ, if they're retaining Russ, like downfield, big bodies to win down there, that's kind of where Higgins can kind of fit in and be that younger version of the Mike Williams, perhaps, for them. And so if they don't go get the Ibuka or the Golden in the first, it feels like, it's going to be kind of a dream crusher, unfortunately. But, yeah, I think 50s for Higgins right now, it makes perfect sense.
Got it. Good stuff. All right.
Honestly, kind of where PFF has him, right? That's PFF's board, that third column. 54th?
Yes, that's correct. Yeah.
That seems about right, honestly.
Yeah.
While we're on it, what about Jalen Royals, Jake? What are your thoughts on Jalen Royals out of Utah State?
Yeah, I think pretty no nonsense in terms of the route running movement skills. Now I'm sure the clips have gone around. You've seen all the TikTok route running that happened on day 3. Which is just hilarious to watch, honestly. Yeah, he seemed no nonsense. There was one rep where Royals just pushed the DB over, I think for fun. Just said, I'm more physical than you, so I'm just going to push you down. I think he's not going to be the fastest, but again, smooth and no nonsense player. Good feel for leverage, good feel for zone. And he still is somebody who, when he got there, I didn't think he was that big. So that should help in the tight window stuff and the contested stuff over the middle. So yeah, another kind of pretty well-rounded player, not as explosive, but in that 50s, 60s, 70s area, it's probably where he's going to kind of end up.
Sure. Late second round, early third round, maybe something like that.
Seems about right. Yeah.
Cool.
So the national team just converted, I think it was a 3rd and 12 to Isaac Tesla. Not that Tesla. It's got 2 A's in it. Let's don't get political on here, folks. Everybody put your stones back in your rows. But nice conversion there from Riley Leonard on that third and long, as the national team are still leading 8-0 though here in the first quarter, 1:18 left. Now we got a 2nd and 1 coming up here for Riley Leonard. I don't know, man. Riley Leonard, I was not impressed with. Obviously being a big Notre Dame fan. Now, don't get me wrong. He's got all the heart in the world. You give that guy the rock, hey, we need a first down here. We need 8 yards, pick it up. He somehow finds a way. But in terms of a pro-style quarterback, how do you feel about him, Jake, in terms of Riley Leonard, man? Do you think he'll get drafted?
I think he'll probably get drafted. That's kind of the guy somebody was asking about, day 3 quarterbacks, 251 kind of thing. That seems about right. I think you could pretty much lock him in for day 3. I think he goes behind, Howard and Darton Milroe. It was it was interesting because I think that was like the headline. It was all 3 of those guys, Leonard, Darton, Milroe on that American team. It was like, all right, cool. This is going to be great. Can't wait to watch some QBs. And then it's Shuck and it's Sheck and it's Gabriel that are kind of doing the best job all week at QB. So yeah, I don't know where he's going to fall, at least for me right now. I think somebody like Sheck and McCord might interest me a little bit more than Leonard.
Got it. And
yeah,
right now,
it's that passing for me, right, on Leonard. I mean, he can run the ball, no problem, but it's that arm talent. Not saying that he can't develop it, but it's just that basis isn't exactly there. But hey, man, if you want to take that first, the first look at free agency, you draft him in the 7th round just so you have him, kind of thing. We did it last year. It didn't work out, but I'm sure someone's going to take a shot at him just because he plays with heart, right? He plays with drive. He's going to leave it out there, so.
Yeah, we'll see what happens with him. We've got him in the 126 spot, which is wild to think about. But here's how we came up with that grade, all right? And again, that's not saying he's going to be taking 126. That's just where he is on our board. His PFF 2023 grade had him as the 101st quarterback graded. Then he jumped to the 56th highest quarterback graded, right? And then the PFF big board had him in the 100th spot. The consensus big board had him at 149. Now, we still don't have a Daniel Jeremiah or a 33rd team grade, which means he's outside of the top 100 according to the 33rd team, and Daniel Jeremiah is outside of the top 50 there. So once we get their grade, I'm sure he will drop down significantly because he's probably going to be outside of the top 100, well outside of it. So right now we got Riley Leonard there in the 126 spot. But
right on cue, Riley Leonard overthrows.
There it is. Exactly. All right. Is there,
He's got big catch radius.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
any other prospects you guys want to hit on here? Anybody at all, Tim, you got on your mind that we can look up on our board and maybe get Jake and Emilio's take on them here?
Going back to what Jake was saying about Will Howard, like being a guy that, depending on where he falls, don't be completely shocked if Goody takes a flyer and drafts a quarterback, because we brought up Malik Willis. Like we don't know what the future holds for him, other than he's probably not going to be here long term. So what are you looking at in your stable of quarterbacks, right? So I just thought that was a great point, because Will Howard looks like one of those guys to me that would probably fit the mold and be a good piece behind Jordan.
Yeah, we have Will Howard in the 111 spot right now is where he's sitting. PFF grade, he was the 92nd graded quarterback in 23. He jumped to 42 in 24. PFF Big Board had him at 97. The consensus Big Board had him at 129 is where he's at. Obviously outside of the top 50 for Daniel Jeremiah and outside of the top 100 when it comes to the 30-13. So
like if he's out there for some reason in the 5th round or something, I wouldn't put it past Goody to pull the trigger.
I can see that.
You want to sort it by position, Clay? See how we got them stacked up in QBs?
Yeah, let's do that. Yeah, let me clear this out here. This is pretty cool. So this will sort the QBs by position and grade, which is awesome. So if we scroll down here, it won't give you their overall ranking on our board. It will give you the order of their grade. Now, obviously, the low number wins over here to the right. Cam Ward is our top quarterback at a 11.1. Then we've got Shedeur Sanders at a 15.6, and then it drops off. Yeah, significant. Wow. So we've actually got Jalen Milroe as the third best quarterback at a 51.1. Dylan Gabriel in that same exact tier out of Oregon, who's playing here today in the Senior Bowl. He's got a 54.2. Then Jackson Dart is down about probably a full 2 tiers. We do tiers by 5-point increments, so it's a lot further broke down than just normal tiers. So Jackson Dart there at a 67.7. Then we got Tyler Huff out of Jacksonville State at 75.3. Quinn Ewers at 86.3. Man, a guy that was talked about, this dude might be a franchise quarterback going into last year, and all of a sudden, man, Jake, he has had quite the fall, hasn't he?
Yeah, he has. It's crazy because I remember all of the high school camp videos of Ewers where you see the rotational thrower and he is driving just missiles outside the numbers. I don't know what happened. I'm not sure why. You watch. I'm sure you've all seen him. He's throwing like he's taken a lot off of his throws over the last 2 seasons at Texas. I don't know why he isn't driving the ball more. You just see a lot more touch throws, a lot more dangerous throws because of that. Like he's inviting defenders back into the window. So I'm very
might be confused. Why he doubled his interception total from 23 to 24. Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like he is confident in where he wants to go past like 10, 12 yards. It's very strange. Like you see how comfortable he is with all of like the schemed up screen stuff, right? Like all the spinner stuff they run out of Sark's system. But like I'm kind of baffled because coming in from high school, it looked like arm talent, accuracy, it was all there. It's very stunning. Yeah. And I'm surprised Texas didn't go with Arch at some point during the season. Mm-hmm. Like it seemed like, okay, like he's also not going to run at all, right? Arch is going to give you also that running element that Howard gave, Ohio State, that Leonard gave Notre Dame, plus, as a passer. So I'm not sure why they stuck with him. But yeah, just a very strange fall for him.
It felt like that was missing in Texas too, man, is not having that ability to kind of, when the play breaks down, hey, let's go get a first down. So Quinn Ewers, 86.3. Then it's Will Howard out of Ohio State at an 89.3. Then Curtis Rourke, quarterback out of Indiana. He was at the East-West Shrine Bowl there at 95.4. Then Riley Leonard, we talked about already. Kyle McCord out of Syracuse at 102.7. Garrett Green out of West Virginia, 108.3. Max Brosmer, quarterback out of Minnesota. He was at the East-West Shrine Bowl. He's got a 127.4. Bryson Daly What have we heard about him, man? That's the thing. Like, we obviously, everybody's staying away from him right now. I've heard rumors that he may go to the draft. I see other people that don't even talk about it. What do you think, Bryson Daly? Because they compared him to, he might be able to play kind of a Taysom Hill role in an offense. What do y'all think about Bryson Daly out of Army? He was fun to watch this year, man.
Yeah, he was second in the nation in touchdowns. I mean, the dude's not afraid to put his head down and run the ball. Kind of reminds me of a Riley Leonard, maybe a little bit less arm talent, but still kind of in that vein of he's disciplined. He's got all the stuff. He's part of Army. He knows how to carry a team. Leadership, energy, all that kind of thing. I could see it being a pull late, 6th, 7th round again. Just having a first shot at him. If not, I would lean to, probably one of those, tight end running backs, sort of, maybe he's that new mismatch, hand off to the running back, secondary pass sort of look, but we'll see.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Drew D asked here, Jake, are there issues with Bryson Daly going into the NFL because he's in the Army? Have you heard anything in that regard sometimes, or service involved, things like that?
Yeah, I do remember this. The first time I remember hearing about this was there was a Navy running back way back 4, 5, 6 seasons ago that like had to get some like delayed. Yeah, like your service gets delayed somehow, so you get to go play. And yeah, I'm assuming Daly probably has to do the same thing. I would imagine Army and Navy have the same.
Wasn't it Trey Taylor last year, that safety out of Air Force? Didn't he get drafted?
He did. Yes, he did.
He's playing now. I could have swore he was.
And I promise you this, man, Army, Navy, Air Force, all those academies, if they had their say in it, hey, yeah, let's let him go to the NFL so we can get a little bit more notoriety with the recruiting aspect, right? Like that type of stuff too. If you've got someone on the fence about going to an academy, that might push them over. Yeah. So interesting to see what happens there, though. Brady Cook, a quarterback out of Missouri, 147. Tyler,
how do you he was at the East-West Shrine game, too, I think Cook was. Wasn't he throwing I'm pretty sure he was on the map, but
he may have been.
Maybe.
Tyler, how do you say this, Jake? Is it Shoe? Is that right?
It's Sheck, actually.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. And it's spelled like this, right? We get the spelling right?
It is spelled like that. Yep.
All right. Thanks, Shrek.
Yep.
Thanks, Shrek. All right. Graham Mertz. Wisconsin folks will remember that name, right? Obviously, he settled in down there at Florida. He's got 182.4. And then, what about Florida State? I'm not going to try to butcher the name. Ugalele or something like that.
I got you.
How do you say it?
It's Uiagalelei. So it's Uiagalelei.
Uiagalelei.
I was going to call him DJ.
DJU was very commonly used when he was at Clemson.
I love it.
I like that.
So. I remember preseason, a lot of talk around him, right?
Yeah.
Boy,
6'4", 250.
Yeah, he was a massive recruit at Clemson. Went into Notre Dame, got a big win. I remember that. Like, I think his freshman year. He's definitely bounced around since then. Just another one that's like kind of athleticism, big arm accuracy, kind of wavered for most of his career.
Did he play a lot when last year they lost their quarterback? Was he the one that stepped up and started playing for them last year?
No, actually, because he was still at Oregon State last year.
Okay, got it.
So, yeah, he was at Oregon State after Clemson. Yeah, I'm trying to remember who the heck it was last year that came in for Travis, but
right, because I remember Travis got picked in like the 5th or 6th round this past year.
Yeah, by the Jets.
Yeah, so I mean, that wouldn't be a bad move. Looking at the next there, we got Donovan Smith from Houston. He's sitting at 211. So I mean, not ideal. These guys we're talking the border of, if they're getting drafted or not. KJ Jefferson, I always liked him because who came out last year from UCF? That was they had like 2 wide receiver deep threats that came out last year.
Baker.
Yeah, Baker. Oh man, he threw some pretty balls to him in some of those games.
Yeah, he's interesting. I think I'm correct. If he was at Arkansas first, and then came over to UCF for the last couple seasons, I think. Yeah, there's some intriguing guys down here. Max Brosmer definitely made Minnesota a lot better offensively this year as well. And I think he was a lot of everyone's favorite down at the Shrine Bowl, and just in terms of like poise, playing the quarterback position right within the pocket. So, that could be somebody on day 3 for Green Bay.
What are your thoughts on Graham Mertz from Florida?
We got a lot of Wisconsin people watching, right? Maybe I'm just, I'm going to respectfully decline that question.
He didn't take the bait.
Hey, I'll tell you, man, I learned real quick last year. You do not say anything negative about Wisconsin Badgers, man.
Be careful out there.
Learn it the hard way. J. Cole said you could tell the difference between the Senior Bowl and the Shrine Bowl. You really can, man. It looks a lot different. It really does in terms of the speed, the athleticism, everything. So looks like they got DJ's top prospects rolling across the bottom there. Benjamin Morrison's an interesting one, man. When the season kicked off, obviously before the hip injury, everybody was talking about cornerback BJ. And he was, me being a Notre Dame fan, it's like, yeah, this dude got the ability to be a superstar. But since then, he's obviously dropped quite a bit. How do you guys feel about BJ Morrison here, or Benjamin Morrison? Some people call him BJ. I know we've heard him called that before, but Benjamin Morrison, 103 last year, according to PFF. Then he dropped all the way to 330 this year. Obviously, there was an injury involved. We need to go ahead and hit that. Let me do that right now. Bang. Wrong color. What color?
Wrong color.
There it is. That's close enough. All right.
I'll fix it.
PFF Big Board had him at 15, and the consensus Big Board had him at 22. We've got him significantly lower, obviously, with our grade being a 66.8. If we were to sort by that, let me do this real quick. 66.8. I know he fell down quite a bit for us. We've got him in the 75 spot here. What do you think, Jake? Tim, I want to get your take on it too, man. You've looked into corners a lot this year, especially looking for maybe a potential slot there as well.
Yeah.
What do y'all think about Benjamin Morrison?
Well, another Notre Dame guy, so I'm a little biased. And he's barely 21, so the Goody DiCaprio factor is real. And he played a little bit of slot. He doesn't look like much, he looks serviceable in the slot, but primarily a boundary corner, right? And right at that like 6 foot kind of range, so not too big, not too small. I haven't gotten to do much film study on him, but PFF had him at a 71.4. I think we're a little lower on him than PFF is, right? They got him 16.
Oh yeah. Well, that's it, because I was just looking. Bucky Brooks' mock draft right there at the bottom had Morrison going 24th to the Vikings after we selected Jahdae Barron for the first one for our corner. So they see him as he's probably going in the first round, but again, that injury is something that you gotta keep in mind. I know that science has gotten better, we're moving beyond it, but it's something that they got to keep in their head.
Yeah. Definitely. Do you think there's a chance they have to consider corner early rounds just because of the talent crop that's in this draft? Like we talked about, if you get outside of those first couple rounds, it's kind of slim pickings. Like, would this be kind of, first time since Eric Stokes that we see a first round corner? It's possible, right?
Yeah, I think so. Go ahead, Jake.
No, I think it is very possible. I just because, when you look at where DJ has a lot of the corners, where Brugler's talked a lot about the corners, like there are going to be so many, I think, drafted in the first couple of days, and there may even be some that get kind of, I think, pushed up even higher, just because the need for quality corners. You're only as good as your third corner in this league at this point, right? With the rise in 11 personnel, kind of got to have a good third one, based on just how injuries work in the league. It's going to be interesting to see how it falls for Green Bay at 23, but it does feel like the year that we'll be back to defense once again. Jordan Morgan, that was fun. We're back. We're probably back to defense this year.
Probably D-line and corner in the early rounds or something. Yeah, I agree. I love it.
All right. So, as far as DJ's board, we're sorted by DJ's board right now. He's got his top corner being Travis Hunter, obviously no surprise there, right? And then You drop down to Jahdae Barron, who's in the 9 spot. All right, overall there. And then after that, you go to Will Johnson, who is in the 12 spot, according to Daniel Jeremiah. And then you got to go down quite a bit. It drops off the touch, right? And that's when you're going to get into the next wave of DBs. You know, of course, you've got our boy here from South Carolina, right? I don't know, Tim, does he have Emenware? I think am I saying that right? Did I nail that one? No. Emenware. Yeah, I think we got that. Do we got any slot snaps there, Tim, with Nick Emenware out of South Carolina?
Played mostly deep. I think he came into the box some a little, but I think he was mostly kind of a deep safety. What do we got, Tim?
I'm looking up right now, and I cannot find.
Probably because his name is Emenware. He is nice in Ultimate Team though, Clay. Now you throw the little throw the token on him. He's a 94 overall. I mean, come on now.
All right, here's what we got.
Did you find him on the big board, or where did you find him?
I've got him on the PFF big board.
He is some slot snaps.
6'3", 227. Big old boy, right? And Emenware PFF grade 67, 72, 79. So he showed improvement all 3 years. So he had 146 snaps in the slot, 414 in the box, and only 193 deep. So he is more of that spur safety and can play in the slot for you as well. Last year he played 247 snaps in the slot. So he does got a little slot in him. So that might be a name to keep an eye on there with Nick Emenware.
Yeah, that could be one of those guys Jake was talking about that just moves up, you know, with that crop of corners that get taken a little earlier than we thought.
Yeah, definitely could. And again, DJ's got him in the 21 spot there. Next, in terms of DBs that might potentially play corner, according to Daniel Jeremiah, would be Malachi Starks. He's got him in the 33 spot out of Georgia.
What a grab.
Yeah, let's see what we got there.
That just came up.
You're going to see a pretty big spread on his.
Yeah, 271 in the slot for Malachi Starks. PFF grade.
You missed that flea flicker, Clay. They just ran a little dive, toss back to the QB, dart hit Besh on a deep ball.
Besh, is that what you said?
Yeah, go up and get it.
It's funny that you mentioned that. Let's drop this down a second. I'm going to show you boys something. I was just looking at this.
Is it what Coach Boone was talking about? He's stirring the pot over here.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yep. We got something else here too.
Coach, you gotta be careful with those ones sometimes, though.
Really do. Dane Brugler said we're going to hear a lot of Puka Nacua comps for Jack Besh during the process. There you go.
Oh, boy.
And it's easy to see why. Athletic and super competitive ball winner, as Jim Nagy had tweeted out. TCU's Jack Besh was named top wide receiver on the American squad in vote from cornerback and DS. I guess you mean DB maybe?
I think they call. I don't know why they label safety as that. I have no clue why that's deep safety, baby. I don't know.
It's crazy.
It's weird.
Position groups at the Practice Player of the Week awards ceremony today at the 2025 Reese's Senior Bowl. So Jack Besh should be getting a bonus here if we haven't already, Emilio. I think we should throw that on. I've been looking at those awards. I think that's cool that the peers are voting on that. You know what I mean? And kind of saying, hey, here's the dude that stood out to us the most. Right. So we'll throw a little bonus in there for Besh if we haven't already, for sure.
He does not have one. What do we want to give him?
Let's give him a -5 there, man. Let's do it.
Welcome to the squad.
Jake, is Beck a tight end? He kind of looks like he could play tight end.
Seriously, man. He's
ripped, man.
Yeah.
I kind of feel for him because he's been labeled now Puka Nacua comp, who to me is one of the elite receivers in football right now. I feel really bad for him now because of that. Because once you see a Puka comp or you get comp to
Pat Mahomes.
Oh yeah, Mahomes is a great example. Like I feel horrible for him now because that's what everybody is going to remember.
Right.
Once he gets drafted, like, oh my gosh, he got compared to Puka. He's going to be elite, and I feel kind of bad.
There's our boy Jake Jackson Dart runs it in for the touchdown. Runs through a couple arm tackles as the American team is on the board now. It's 8-6. We'll see if they go.
They're doing the.
I've seen that. Remember the Titans, right?
Yeah.
Who in here? Who? Yeah.
Yeah. So Jackson Dart, I do like the hoodie. I'm not gonna lie, man. Got the half sleeves with the hoodie. Let's go.
Can only wear it in college. You might as well get used to it, right?
I missed the
I'm
James
pretty sure
Jones.
they took that away in the NFL. You can't have it obstructing your name or whatever.
I don't know, man. I'm the Madden modern community there on PC. They got everything in there, man. We got guys.
Clay, that's a drip.
You can
man.
wear the old Leatherhead on there if you want, right? It doesn't even matter.
Bro, the stuff they put on there. Somebody did God, what was the mod they created the other day? It was hilarious. It was the Joe Flacco throwback mod. Joe Flacco is the commissioner, I think. So when you do your draft and it shows Goodell walk up there, it's actually Joe Flacco walking up there to present everything. And they actually have Goodell as a coach in the game, which is
That's
hilarious.
hilarious. Love it.
So he's on the sideline coaching. It's good stuff. So anyway,
We do need to get this Tesla guy on the board. He is not on the big board.
is
He
that
just,
right?
he just caught that 2-point.
Throw him in there, man. He's made a couple plays already. I think he was the one that converted on that 3rd and long, right? So throw him on the board. At least put his name in there. That way we can search for him next time and throw some grades up on him for sure. The board just keeps growing, Jake. I usually try to cut it off at like 150 to 200. Last year, I broke through 200. This year, we're probably going to have 350 people on that.
Perfect. That's what
Right
I'm
now,
talking about.
right now there are 483 names on the board.
Jeez, oh, Pete.
Yes.
Nice.
Excellent. That's what you want.
So, yeah, obviously Jack Best is turning heads there. And I'm with you. I understand what you're saying too, Jake. Like, talking about setting a person up for failure, man. 65, 62, then jump to an 83. And
65%.
65%. That's what we not quite to the tight end size. He's 6'2", 215, but as you can see, man, he's shredded. That dude,
Thick.
I think he'll be a good pro, but I don't know, man. When you, like you said, Jake, when you start talking Puka Nacua, man, it's like,
Got to live up to the hype. It's tough.
definitely. Got a question for you here, Jake. Drew D said, did anybody stand out to Jake during the Shrine Bowl? We know you were down there at the Senior Bowl, but have you been keeping up with the Shrine Bowl? Anybody stick out to you there?
Yeah, I downloaded the app that they broadcast practices on just to see what I could get from it. Yeah, I mean, obviously Kobe Bryant was excellent. There's no doubt about that. He's probably going to be the one that's most talked about after that week of practice. Marcus Ware was pretty good, even at 298 down there from Montana State. That's the guy I know we're going to be picking a lot these mock drafts on day 3. That's draft, for sure. But yeah, I liked him. I know Elijah Huzzy was a big pretty much a big winner throughout the week at corner. Stayed patient. Another guy who was kind of around the catch point at all times in the 1v1s. And then our Boise State guy that we almost took in the mock earlier this week, Ahmed Hassanian from Boise State, who I know had a pretty big year. He was, I think he had a big game against Penn State. I think he was kind of the only one, getting any pressure on that offensive line, right? The talent discrepancy was there, but yeah, he looked good from what I saw from him. I know Ricky White looked good from UNLV, the receiver, and I'm excited about Konate Mumfield from Pitt at receiver as well. So I'm there were definitely plenty of guys on there. It would have been really cool to see guys like Sanders and Kenneth Grant participate, and obviously Ravel from East Carolina, who was injured and obviously couldn't do it. But Shrine's creeping up there. They're definitely getting some pretty impressive talent on there, with the Kansas corners and all that. So,
yeah, no doubt.
All right. Siobhan Ravel, that was he jumped off the tape doing a little film study on him. He looks like pretty valuable guy to keep an eye on.
Should we comp him to Quinyon?
Man, I'll tell you.
That's what scares me
too,
about
because
comps.
like last year when the Quinyon Mitchell conversation started, there were a lot of people. There were a lot of people. It's small school in the chat everywhere. It's small school. It's a small school. And then you see him at the Senior Bowl, and it's like, okay, now what, right?
He didn't lose against a drill designed for him to lose.
Right.
He didn't lose. Like, I don't know what else he needed to really say or do. Honestly, if after that, I wouldn't even show up to the combine. I'd be like, you saw what happened down there. You should pick me. So,
Tim, you were asking about Siobhan Ravel, right?
Yeah.
Let's see where we got him on the board. We got him in the 51 spot currently. So his PFF grade last year amongst cornerbacks, 67th, then 31st. And the PFF Big Board has him in the 30 spot. Consensus Big Board had him in the 24 spot. And then the 33rd team had him 7th. I was blown away when I seen it. Jake, the 33rd team, Kyle Krabs, had Siobhan Revel Jr. Is it Revel or Revel?
That's that one. I'm not sure.
Close enough.
I take on those crazy names like our buddy Princely down there a few spots. Yeah. I know that one, but I'm not sure about.
I've really heard
Revel
it both ways. Like I said Revel for the longest time, and then I heard Revel, so I really have no idea.
Let's see if I can find it.
Yeah, and having him in the 7 spot there by Kyle Krabs, that was a whoa moment for me. Like, whoa, really? It's number 7 overall on Kyle Krabs' board. Is that just me, or is that crazy high, man?
It's different, and
it's different.
You know what? Honestly, like, what do we know? That could be right. In a year, we could be like, man, everybody should have had him that high. So, I respect those who trust, who trust their eyes, the data, all of that, put that all together, and if you think he's the 7th best prospect, who am I to say that's completely wrong or ludicrous? Really.
Let's do that. Let's take a look. Let's see who he's got ranked here. So just starting number 1, Kyle Krabs has Travis Hunter, cornerback out of Colorado. Will Johnson, cornerback out of Michigan's number 2. Ashton Gianti. One thing about it, Ashton Gianti, everybody agrees on. Dude's a damn dog, right? Like he's the real deal. In the number 4 spot, he's got edge defender Abdul Carter. No surprise there. Mason Graham, defensive lineman out of Michigan, in the 5 spot. Malachi Starks, safety out of Georgia's in the 6th spot. DJ has him 33rd, and Kyle Krabs has Malachi Starks 6th overall. Then Siobhan Revel Jr. in the number 7 spot. DJ don't even have him in the top 50. So it seems like Kyle Krabs, he's in love with the DBs this year. You know what I mean? There's a lot of DBs at the top of that list, no doubt. So, but he's got Josh Simmons at offensive tackle Will Campbell, edge defender Jalen Walker, which we just changed him to edge. It's amazing when the process started, it was linebacker. Now all of a sudden it's edge. I don't know how you feel about him, Jake. We've got him a little bit lower. If we sort by average here, I'm going to show you where we have him. I want to get your take on Jalen Walker because we do have him quite a bit lower than most people do. We've got him in the 34 spot. And the main reason being is PFF was not nice to him at 242nd, then 227th at his position. The PFF Big Board had him at 34. The Consensus Big Board had him at 16. So it's his PFF grades that's dragging him down. Obviously, everybody's anticipating him to measure and test really, really well at the combine. What do you think about Jalen Walker? Do you see him more as an edge, more as a linebacker? I went ahead and switched him to edge because everything I was seeing, everybody was kind of shifting to edge.
Yeah, it's always these like, he's a hybrid player on defense. It's always so weird when you try this. Like Zaven Collins was like that. Like, he's linebacker, he's edge. I don't know. Isaiah Simmons is a big one. Like, he's gonna play safety, he's gonna play linebacker. And it's like, well, if you don't find a spot, it's gonna be pretty difficult.
Tariq Carpenter all over again.
There are definitely some, like, it took who's the shoot?